Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
It may not feel like it, but planting season is on its way, and now's the time to upgrade your equipment with a late model John Deere planter from Acres Equipment. Acres has an entire lineup of John Deere planters equipped with the latest technology to ensure planting accuracy throughout your field. And to get you up and going, each planter purchased from Acres includes in-field startup support from one of our Precision Ag professionals. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Visit your local Acres for details. Offer expires April 30th, 2025.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
You know you want those Wingstop boneless wings. With the boneless meal deal from Wingstop, you get 20 boneless wings in 4 delicious flavors and a large order of hand-cut fries for just $16.99. What are you waiting for? More wings, more flavor, more bang for your buck. The $16.99 boneless meal deal from Wingstop. Order now from wingstop.com. Valid at participating locations for a limited time on orders for pickup or delivery placed via wingstop.com or the Wingstop app. Prices may vary by location. See wingstop.com/offers for full details.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's the On the Block Open. It's the old school hour. Either way, it's all sponsored by the Mercado. I'm Austin Orman. Seated to my left, Husker Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Catch your breath yet, partner?
Yeah, man. Very uneventful on the second game that Nick and Jay had to call. And, Scott pretty much looked like the Scott of old and taking care of business and moving on to the next round. So shout out to them. And let's see how it keeps going the rest of this evening as I step back over there in another hour or so.
Yeah, we'll give you half an hour here on the air and then get you back over to PBA. You'll have Scottsbluff and Gretna East at 6, and then Wahoo versus Elkhorn North at 7:45 or 8. This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by the Certified Piedmontese Special Ingredient Butcher Shop with the 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. Most important for you to know right now is that tomorrow is Fired Up Friday at the Mercado. That is at the 84th and Havelock location. It starts at 11, first come, first serve. It's about $15 a meal. Absolutely worth it. They use their certified Piedmontese beef and all their other cuts of meat. They rotate through those again on Fired Up Fridays at 84th and Havelock. Highly recommend you get there. Go to the mercadobutchery.com. Check out Fired Up Fridays to figure out what is on the menu. What's on the menu for us over the next hour or so? Some more regular season retrospective for Nebraska men's basketball. We're going to do report card style here. Go through most of the rotation players. Strick and I will get through the starting lineup before we send him back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. I'll go through some of the reserves when we get there. Strick, let's just start with Bryce Williams, right? We've talked a lot about him. A through F, what letter grade do you give Bryce Williams in the 24-25 season?
I definitely would say A minus B plus. A lot of it had to do with some of the inconsistencies in different points throughout, but shout out to him for finishing up later. Mm-hmm. I move more to the A minus position because of the finish. I thought he finished off well. He did what he could do. He gave what he could give. Teams just began to figure it out and started to take things away from him that you need other players to be able to step up. Yes, he did get some of that from Juwan Gary, which we'll get into as well, but some of the others just weren't able to do so when they needed him.
Brad, we will get to everything you have to say on the text line here in just a minute. I ended up in that same range, Strick, somewhere in the A to A minus sort of range. I settled at A because Bryce Williams was second on the team in Box Plus Bayesian performance rating, according to Evan Miyakawa. Far and away the highest in points over replacement player, according to Bart Torvik, and Box Plus minus as well. Best player efficiency rating on the team, most win shares on the team, highest game score. And even Bryce's worst game graded out better than anyone else's worst game. Again, These are all subjective sort of numbers plugged into the computer. We've spent a lot of time talking about Bryce Williams. I do want to point this out, though, Strick. In Bryce Williams leaping up from the third option for Nebraska last year to the clear-cut number one option this year, Bryce Williams last year took about 22.3% of Nebraska's possessions. He was at 28% usage rate this year. And last year only took about 21.8 of Nebraska's percent of the shots. He took 29% of Nebraska's shots this year. Despite all the times where we thought like Nebraska wasn't getting him the ball, like he could have done more. They could have done more to get it to him, whatever it was. Bryce Williams shot 30% of the time for Nebraska. He was shouldering a heavy load. I didn't realize it was that much of a percentage of Nebraska's shots that he ended up taking this year.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that Bryce did, it was tough to see because it didn't feel like it. Meaning, you didn't you could look up and all of a sudden you realize, my gosh, he's got 24. And it didn't seem like it throughout the game. It wasn't allowed 24, and I just thought he did a better job of managing the wins, not WIN, but the WHENs, the win to make your move, to take over, those type of things when you were needed. I even thought he made the right plays when they were in position to score, not forcing stuff as much. I thought a lot of the stuff that he got was good action.
Brad says Bryce Williams gets a B plus from him. Let's move on to Juwan Gary. What letter grade do you give number 4, Stricky? C plus B minus range for me for Bryce, and not Bryce, but for Juwan. I think Juwan could have given me a little bit more, especially on the defensive side, when you needed that lockdown guy to really take the onus. When you needed that one rebound, like the stuff. If you could have seen, for me, if it could have been a consistency of what he gave, I want to say it was a Northwestern. Was it Northwestern game, or what was the game where he really just went off and he had big rebounding? I mean, he was good down the stretch.
Without him, it probably doesn't happen. Some of the stuff that he did, I want to say it was a Northwestern game.
He had the 3 to start sparking the comeback early in the second half.
You know what I mean? So I would have loved to see a consistency there. Now, I will say that he did, why I pushed towards that range is he did become a second option for them when they needed scoring, and you saw that more on a consistent basis. But I would have liked to really see a good combination of offense, defense. I saw sparks of it, but or pieces of it, but I didn't really see enough to make me really move him into the A category.
I ended up a little higher than you on Juwan Gary, and I'll get into the reasons why here. I agree with everything you're saying. I wanted to see a little bit more, especially defensively. But were we expecting more from Juwan than he was capable of defensively, right? He's not a guy that's going to lock down on the ball. He didn't prove that at Nebraska, and he probably has some postseason to do. And so the fact that Nebraska had to rely on him to attempt to lock up opposing ball handlers, again, that comes down to roster more than me. If Juwan was allowed to roam weak side, play free safety, hunt blocks, I think Juwan would be a fantastic defender. That's the all Big Ten defensive team caliber guy. But Juwan's effort on the ball, his abilities on the ball, come and go. He's not as shifty. He's still a little long and gangly. He can get beat on the perimeter. So I think that's fair to say. He does end up with the, I think, second or third highest defensive Bayesian performance rating, according to Evan Miyakawa on Nebraska's team. I bumped Juwan's rating up a little bit, Strick, because of the off-the-court impact that Fred Hoiberg said, right? And I'll get into more of my nitpicks with him in a minute, but it sounds like Juwan Gary was shouldering a pretty heavy emotional load for this team, trying to be the one that kept them together. And I want to give him credit for the growth that he showed, right? Fred Hoiberg said it. If you would have told him 2-3 years ago when Juwan got to campus that Juwan Gary was going to be the emotional glue, the one stepping up, leading vocally, not the one hanging his head, the one that was engaged, that to me speaks volumes. So I'm going to give Juwan some benefit of the doubt there. But then when we get to on the court, Stricky, this is where I completely agree with what you're saying defensively and rebounding wise. Juwan Gary, his offensive rebounding rate, his defensive rebounding rate, smack dab average. He played some heavy minutes for Nebraska. Okay. But for a guy that was at his best and whose team was at its best when he was crashing the glass, plain and simple, he didn't do enough of it, according to the numbers. Think about the Kansas State game. He had 11 offensive rebounds. Now, that is a once-in-a-lifetime performance. You don't just grab 11 offensive rebounds a game. But it was more common to see Juwan with 1 or 2 offensive rebounds than with 3 or 4 for a guy that really could have made his living there. Even defensively, for a team that still struggled to rebound, I felt like I could have seen more from Juwan getting in the scrub, getting involved. And this, to me, Strick, is the most telling stat. Juwan Gary in 2024-25 had 22 fewer rebounds in 3 more games played and in 172 more minutes. 22 fewer rebounds in 172 more minutes. And again, we know that his usage percentage creeped up a little bit too. That there was a lot on him as a leader of a team and emotionally. But to me, we missed some impact from Juwan Gary because he wasn't as aggressive a rebounder on either side of the ball as Nebraska needed him to be.
Well, think about this, right? If I had his body, because me at my frame, I almost averaged right around 5 rebounds a game. You see what I'm saying? This is why, I hear what you're saying, and but I can't fault where you're taking it. But for me, for that team, you should have been the one with your abilities to track offensively on the rebounds, your ability to physically outman probably a lot of the guys that you're playing against, and the need in crucial moments. I think really what turned me off that one time is watching him have in a crucial moment, he's weak side on the rebound, the ball goes up, he stands and watches as one of his guys is battling instead of getting in and engaging. That's what kind of, rubs me a little bit wrong as far as that's concerned.
3994 said Gary is a stud. He just took games off, which he couldn't afford to do.
Yes.
Nebraska couldn't afford Juwan Gary to take games off. They needed him to be a consistent impact player, right? And 3994, Gary needs a little bit more of an edge, a little more dog in him. Yes, we've been saying this all season long. If you're going to tell us you got that dog in you, if you're going to tell us that you want to be dirty, gritty, grimy, not pretty, especially from Juwan Gary as one of the mouthpieces of the team and a senior leader in his last year of college basketball. Maybe I was a little soft on him, right? I'll downgrade the grade to a B because, yes, for being a guy that said he has that dog in him, Strick, we didn't see that for a full 40 minutes, a full 27, 28 minutes a night, start to finish. And yes, you have off games, but the fact that it was kind of alternating or a week on, a week off, that's a problem from what Nebraska needed from him.
Well said.
Okay, I'll give you first crack at this one, Strick. I'm really curious to see where you go. Bear K. What grade do you give Bear K Boyukton Gel?
See, somebody would be upset if I give him this grade because of an injury, but that injury was way late in the season. To me, D minus F.
Okay.
Because out of everybody, especially on the front court that they needed, who got big minutes and big money, no, sir. No, sir. And you half the time you didn't look like you wanted to be out there, and the times that you did, you gave something, but then it would disappear. Yeah, no, it's a little too much for me. No.
I ended up at D+ with Bear K because of all the reasons you said. And I phrased it this way in my notes here, Strick. To me, there's not a player on the court that had a bigger eye test gap than Bear K Boyukton Gel. When he was at his ceiling, his best, he was really good against St. Mary's in Sioux Falls. He was really good against Ohio State in Lincoln. But then his floor on the road at Ohio State, at home going 0 of 10 against Michigan, that's atrocious. Sure, he's energetic. Yes, the numbers love his defensive impact for Nebraska. I didn't see consistent defensive impact from Bear K. I didn't.
Me neither.
Good rebounder, but not always out of area, just bigger, I think. And did he play too cool for school this year?
That's what it felt like.
I think in a lot of cases he did.
That's what it felt like to me. It felt like I've seen players that got paid in the NBA. I mean, they lost all the weight. They looked good. They were in great shape the year before, and then got paid and came back looking like Zion Williamson. Yeah. It seemed to me that he was more excited for all of the stuff that he had received prior to. And listen, it could be language barrier. It could be you're kind of the odd man out because of the situation that you didn't put yourself in, that the coach did. And maybe some guys didn't, like you for it, so they kind of hit you with the shun, and bump that cat, type deal. I don't know, but I can just tell you this: when it's that situation, I don't go into a shell. I go and raise my game. You know what my nickname used to be?
Strickland. I don't know what you got.
Hollywood. Just think about why they would say that. Because when the lights turned on, I'm trying to star in that role. If someone came in, coaches came in, anybody came in to a practice and they were level went up to a whole nother level. You see what I'm saying? That's why they used to call me Hollywood. But for him, if someone shuns me like that, we've talked about stories of when people shun me. Oh, really? Okay. He didn't seem to raise up to that level for me, because that's what you should do. You should go show them why they paid me. There's a reason why they gave me this money. I'm about to show you. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I feel the way I feel about Burke.
Big Bird says Rink didn't use the language barrier as an excuse. 3994, I think, leads us into a next interesting discussion here. Tricky 3994 asks, who's the biggest disappointment of the year? Connor Essegian or Braxton Mia? I don't even think Connor Essegian's in the discussion for a disappointment. I would say the biggest disappointments would be a three-way tie for me between Bear Cave Weekend, Braxton Mia, and Gavin Griffiths for different reasons. Who's the biggest disappointment of the 24-25 season for you?
I would add even Raleigh Worcester in there, but I'm going to leave that alone. For me, it's got to be Bear K, just because of the expectation. You were recruited specific to a rink mask model, and you didn't in any form or fashion live up to it.
No.
You know, it was a big step for Andrew Morgan because of his athleticism, sometimes high physicality. I was watching JaVale McGee and a lot of people, to include Kobe and even LeBron and all of them. They do, and he requires a high pay. But Akeem Olajuwon, I was watching, and what makes Akeem so great is counters. The same thing that makes Michael and the Kobe and the likes of them, counters. Very good at counters. So they can give you one thing, and they have 2 or 3 counters. This is why Kiki Vandeweghe I absolutely love, because he was one of those types. Morgan just didn't have the ability to do what I was watching on the Akeem video, which he was showing JaVale McGee, which is to be in one place. I talked to you about this. If you're in one place and you make a move, you have to be able to counter and be somewhere else. It's no different than when you're playing a game. If you hit and you counter, or if you're watching boxing, you want to be somewhere else when someone tries to counter you, or you're making a counter to someone else. You want to be somewhere else. And he doesn't have the footwork to do that, nor the athleticism to be able to get over a lot of people. And so when he did have those advantages, you saw some great things out of him. So
I completely agree. It's hard for me to say anyone except Bear K is the disappointment of the year. Braxton Mia, I do give a lower grade. I give Mia a straight up D. I don't know how much of that was his fault.
That's what I'm saying.
Weird fit. Like, he had moments of impact, but
they didn't
what
put
did
him
he
in
do
the
on
best
the roster?
They didn't put him in the best position. They didn't use him again, and that's the part that I give to to the staff, because they did not put him in a position based on his skill set to be successful.
I'm more disappointed for him than in him.
Yeah, me too.
The other guy that I threw,
because I think he could have done some good things, man.
Yes, he did. He had
I thought
moments.
he could have had some good moments, and they just didn't. They didn't use him right. I don't think they knew how to use him. So yeah.
Do you want a really fun stat here, Strick?
Yeah.
Braxton Mia made 26 dunks this season and 13 free throws.
That's crazy.
The man made double the dunks he did at the free throw line.
Could have had more, because I think if they would have ran him to the front of the rim. Listen, okay, so let me give you an example, right? We absolutely understood there was a difference between Derek Chandler and Mikey Moore when we played. Our style was uniquely different. Yes, we still ran Derek to front of the rim. We knew that we do not pass the ball below the waist to Derek Chandler. We knew everything was up, right?
Yep.
Now, with Mikey, we knew that Mikey's not going to be just a come down, set up, run. So whenever Mikey ran, we found him in transition to put people's head in the rim and head top people, right? That's understanding because you knew Mikey run like a gazelle. You knew Mikey running against Big Country. You knew we gonna win that fight. So that's the way we used we're getting out and we're running because we're gonna use our center, which opened up opportunities for us, right? They didn't figure that out.
No.
They didn't No, he's not Mikey Moore Gazelle, but boy, he's big enough in a Big Ten without that type of size to run people right down the middle of the lane, find him, and give him an opportunity. We didn't do it.
I completely agree. I just want to touch on this player really quickly, because then I think we have one more interesting discussion between the two of us before you get back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. I think it was a lost year for Gavin Griffiths. I gave him an F, the only F on the roster. That's a guy, Strick, that I still think can play a role for this team, but Nebraska needed him to step up to relieve Connor Essegian. On nights that you could just tell Connor Essegian didn't have it, that's where Nebraska needed Gavin Griffiths to have it that night, to come in, to be that floor spacer, that floor stretcher, little taller, little longer, slightly better rebounder and defender just by virtue of height. But Gavin Griffiths never got that going. And to me, he just always looked passive and timid. and I hope Nebraska can retain him and get something out of him. There was opportunity for Gavin Griffith this year. It never materialized.
No question. And I don't even have to add more to that, but I do have one to throw at you.
I want your opinions on one guy.
Let's see if we're thinking the same.
3, 2, 1.
Sam
Hoiberg. We got it. We're so back.
Yeah.
Timmy, what you got?
Man, listen, I ain't going to lie to you. And you may disagree with me. I give Sam an A.
Okay.
Here's why. There is one person throughout this whole year that has been a consistent presence without all of the gifts, without all of the talent, without all of the athletic ability, but nonetheless showed up with energy, aggressiveness, and understanding of his role. He didn't ever really try to get out of his role. I still don't think so. I think even in the game when they lost to Iowa, he's watching guys, not take and not look at opportunities, and he's like, shoot, somebody's got to come and give this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even fault him for that. But what I will say is you can't even fight it because his numbers are dang near the best on the team. He's got the best 3-point percent shooting on the team. He's one of the top free throw shooters on the team, just underneath Bryce. He leads the team in steals. His assists, even though he doesn't really have many opportunities, his assist to turnover ratio is solid for not really handling the ball. What, 1.6 assists to 0.5 turnover? What is he? One turnover?
I'm seeing, 50 assists to 28 turnovers.
Oh, that's Ulis. Okay, I got that wrong. 1.6. Oh, so he's just a little almost at 1-to-1. But he's still under 1. So I still, for someone that doesn't handle, he could be probably a little bit better there. But if you look up and down, there's nobody on this team. Listen, bro, at my size, I averaged almost 4 assists a game. And I wasn't the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
None of them is there. So and our style was a pretty much a motion style with a few sets where I may get post-ups and Jerron may get or mismatch situations. We're pretty much a similar style, a free-flowing motion style.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm disappointed, but I give him credit for just the consistency, the hustle. He's won games for them. Not necessarily on the scoreboard, but by way of a defensive play, some form of a steal. So, I got to give him credit, man. I just love guys like that just continue to give it no matter what.
I agree with a lot of what you just said. Sam Hoiberg gained a lot of bonus points for me because of the consistency, because he showed up every night. And some of the numbers that I tracked here, Stricky, don't measure his impact.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's looking to measure as much as they can. What Sam Hoiberg provided for this team intangibly isn't measured. I mean, for all the guys that I looked at here, Strick, Sam Hoiberg has the lowest player efficiency rating this season of any player on Nebraska except Aaron Ulis. And I don't believe that for a second. Sam was definitely more valuable than that. But the positive with Sam, he shot it well again. He was 41% as a freshman, down to 31% last year. And that's when he was borderline unplayable. They had to play him. They had to put him in. But teams would leave Sam Hoiberg open. He made him pay this year. He shot 38% from 3. And if Sam Hoiberg is going to do that, that is perfectly adequate. That is fine. Sam was certainly much more valuable this year because he shot better. And now, Strick, I'm curious to see what the next step is for Sam. I give him a B because his turnover rate, Strick, he turned it over 24% of the time he had the ball in his hands. Now, part of that is he was such a low usage player, only a 9% usage rate, sub 10%. That is minuscule, microscopic. So Sam was an incredibly low volume player. And yet of the 10% of possessions he had, he turned it over 1 in 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that. But why did Sam turn it over? He was addicted to playing off 2 feet, which is what his dad and other coaches told him to do. But what Sam didn't learn until the second to last home game of the year was how to do the Steve Nash dribble. He did that, and it worked.
Yeah.
But Sam did a great job of getting into the lane, but he needs to either stop short of the lane, hit a little floater or a mid-range,
or put what,
or he's got to nash it a little bit more and try to create an advantage for a post on the second dribble through, or a kick out to a shooter filling into the corner that he just vacated. Something that I think that turnover rate is what really drags Sam's numbers down, because role players that can shoot it well, that can defend, and that don't turn the ball over are incredibly valuable. But you turn the ball over 1 in 4 times, that's going to ding you when it comes to the numbers. So that's why I think they're a little bit depressed. If Sam Hoiberg sticks at Nebraska and shoots at 38% from 3 again and gets up to that 2 to 3, maybe even 4 assists per game number, cuts the turnovers in half, that is an incredibly valuable player, because Sam's a winning type of basketball player. But again, just too many trying to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, turnover's a turnover.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I'm really interested to see where they go and what they have coming in and how they mesh. A key linchpin to everything going on with Nebraska is definitely going to be Rick Mass. What his decision is, because
he's their biggest recruit of the offseason, isn't he?
Real talk. If I am Fred Hoiberg, I am in his ear and I'm up in his pay. Now, so there's something that we I sent to you, because we've got state tournament. Is there something we want to wait till next week?
The wins stat
with Fred Hoiberg, when we talked about not necessarily the wins, but the other part.
Oh yeah, let's hold off on that.
Yeah,
That's
we'll hold off on
fuller discussion. But with that, you get your butt back to PBA. You got some more games to call.
Got a couple games to go back over. Shout out to Nick and Jay. Nick's losing his voice. He's holding on. He's doing a wonderful job, man. Nick is great at what he does, and he's really good. And if you get a chance to listen to Nick Nick does a wonderful job. And just keep praying for his voice to hold up through the weekend. He needs honey, tea and honey.
You need some sugar, honey. I said no. Wait. We'll go to break. He's Strix Head at PBA. I'm back here for a little bit next.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
High school basketball fans, take a trip over to the Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame while you're in town for state hoops. Admission is free, and it's a great way to learn about some of the greatest athletes and teams to come out of the state, from recently to over 100 years ago in all sports. Learn more about names like Gale Sayers, Johnny Rogers, Bob Gibson, Tom Osborne, and more. Open Wednesday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. It's the Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Fame, just north of Haymarket Park at 500 Charleston Street.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
You know you want those Wingstop boneless wings. With the boneless meal deal from Wingstop, you get 20 boneless wings in 4 delicious flavors and a large order of hand-cut fries for just $16.99. What are you waiting for? More wings, more flavor, more bang for your buck. The $16.99 boneless meal deal from Wingstop. Order now from wingstop.com. Valid at participating locations for a limited time on orders for pickup or delivery placed via wingstop.com or the Wingstop app. Prices may vary by location. See wingstop.com/offers for full details.
It may not feel like it, but planting season is on its way, and now's the time to upgrade your equipment with a late model John Deere planter from Acres Equipment. Acres has an entire lineup of John Deere planters equipped with the latest technology to ensure planting accuracy throughout your field. And to get you up and going, each planter purchase from Acres includes in-field startup support from one of our Precision Ag professionals. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Visit your local Acres for details. Offer expires April 30th, 2025.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Owned Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Just Austin Orman with you now. Strick headed back to Pinnacle Bank Arena, but we are going to keep on the same exercise that we're going through, handing out some report card grades for Nebraska men's basketball. 402-464-5685. If you've got any thoughts, any comments, or questions, I would love to hear them. Let's head back here through the text line. Dan from Canopy, we will get to a couple of those players here in just a moment, so hold on. Old Dad 34, we will address that at a later date. Eric says, Austin and Strick, you guys spend too much time together. Ain't that the truth? Thank goodness I get a chance to breathe. No, I'm just kidding. Love you, Strick. Appreciate him. We've been doing the show for 2 years and about 3 months now, and we're on the same page quite a bit. I think that's two ball knowers going back and forth. I like how that works out. 3994, everyone needs a Sam Hoiberg on their team. Completely agree. However, did he look a little slower defensively this year? No, I don't think he looked a little slower necessarily. It's tough because Sam Hoiberg gets tasked with a lot of incredibly difficult matchups. That is both a feature of the type of player that he is and a bug because he's 6 foot tall. So if Sam looks slow, it's not because he's slow, right? He's got good end-to-end speed. He's jitterbug quick. We know this. We've seen this for years now with Sam Hoiberg. When Sam Hoiberg looks slow, I would say it's for one of two reasons. Number one, it's because he had a long closeout or had a long gap to jump to get back to his man. Or number two, it's because the player that he's matched up against is taller, bigger, faster, and stronger than he is, right? When he's matched up on Jacoby Gillespie, when you check out Kasparis Yakushonis, when you look at Dylan Harper occasionally, even some of Iowa's guys, right? There's never been any questions about Sam's competitiveness, his effort, and I mean his steal rate of 3.3% is good. That's a significantly above average steal rate, but it's just a function of plain and simple biology. What is Sam blessed with? What are other guys blessed with, right? Sam makes the most of his gifts, and that is to be completely commended, but there will be times that he looks slow and behind. Because what you'll also see Sam do sometimes is to make up for some of that, he'll shoot a passing lane a step further to try to get the steal. Well, then if he doesn't get it, it's a little bit further of a recovery to a guy with a little bit more of a head of steam. So 5034 says, give me a roster of 12 Sam Hoibergs would be the most lovable 3-27 team you have ever watched. I don't think Sam Hoibergs would go 3-27. I think they could get close to double-digit games, at least. Really appreciate Sam and his efforts for Nebraska men's basketball this year. Phil says, totally agree with Strick. In a season with too many games that the team no-showed, Sam was a guy that was always up for the challenge. Absolutely that he was. A few other players I want to get to here before the end of the show. Let's go through Dan from Canopy, his list first. Raleigh Wooster, I give a C- grade 2. And Raleigh Wooster is the guy that I'm going to point to, not to just make an example of him, because Nebraska certainly cycled other guys through this as well, but Raleigh Wooster is a pretty true point guard. And that's what fans were telling me all year. Nebraska needed go get a true point guard. You need a true point guard. That's why things bogged down in the half court when Nebraska didn't have a true point guard. No, Nebraska does not need a true point guard, right? Raleigh is a very traditional point guard. Set other guys up, take shots really only when the moment calls for it, not many more or many fewer than that. Raleigh was just okay. He was pretty much the same player statistically, but again, this is another roster that didn't necessarily amplify what it was that Raleigh Wooster does well, which is doing nothing poorly, right? Raleigh doesn't have a consistent standout skill. Pretty good, but not elite size at point guard. Good, but not elite handle. Shot looks good, but doesn't go down nearly as much as I think you would want it to. A little bit of a step back statistically for him. And I just think it was meh for Raleigh. It was fine. He was out there. He wasn't a difference maker positively or negatively, right? He was a relatively high floor and relatively low ceiling type of player for Nebraska this year. His true shooting percentage of 50.5% was actually the exact same as Berke Boyuktenjau. Now, Berke took more shots than Raleigh Wooster did. Nebraska was 5-3 when Raleigh Wooster scored 10 or more points, which I think is a little interesting. Not that 5-3 is an incredible record, but if you extrapolate 5-3 out through the regular season, that's 20-11 or 20-12. That's 2 games better, than Nebraska would have been with a game in the Big Ten tournament, most likely. So maybe Nebraska at times needed more aggression from Raleigh Wooster, another guy that I think struggled when teams went under, and Nebraska didn't often counter adjust for Raleigh Wooster specifically. And the other part of this too is that Raleigh Wooster attempted 0 or 1 threes in 17 out of 31 games. Now, not that Raleigh knocked him down at a high clip. I mean, this season he attempted, let me see if I can get the totals pulled up here. Raleigh Wooster attempted 50 3-pointers this year, made 11 of them. His worst 3-point shooting year of his career, just 11 out of 50. That's not good. I mean, free throw numbers were maybe a little low, but right in line with what he's done for the most part. Certainly what he did last year at Utah at 71%. The jumper doesn't look broken for Raleigh, which is a little bit weird, but Nebraska needed him a couple times to step up, make a couple more shots to end runs, and it just wasn't always there. Phil says, I was impressed with his ability to handle the press against UCLA. They were getting after it, and I don't think Raleigh had an error. There were some moments in that game and then against, I think it was Ohio State late, where Raleigh looked like the high school quarterback that he was, just kind of launching the ball downfield. Raleigh did fine. He didn't turn the ball over a crazy amount. I mean, 82 assists to 40 turnovers this year, 2-to-1 ratio. Fred Hoiberg wants 2.5-to-1, but I didn't think Raleigh was necessarily turnover prone. I think the depressed number of assists is due to the other guys on the roster. And 39-94, I think Nebraska got all they were going to get out of Wooster. Yeah, I think Raleigh did the bare minimum, the baseline, right? That's why I end up with a C- on him. Andrew Morgan was an interesting eval for me. I ended up with a B- or a B for Andrew Morgan, and this will wrap up Dan from Canopy's text here. Andrew Morgan was fine. The numbers would tell you he wasn't really that impactful of a player. One of the lowest Bayesian performance ratings, according to Evan Miyakawa, only 1.6 points per game over a replacement player, 1.8 box plus minus, both according to Bart Torvik. His player efficiency rating, though, was the 3rd highest, according to Sports Reference. His win shares were tied for second on the team, 3-way tie for second for that. This is a guy that had a not super high ceiling, a decently low floor. I mean, he was not all that great against Michigan, but you think about Nebraska going to him in the first half against Maryland, right? 12 points against Maryland to get Nebraska in a dogfight of the game. Where I'm a little disappointed with Andrew Morgan was free throw shooting, right? I mean, like 57%, I think, for the year. That's not good enough for the guy with the, I believe, 3rd highest free throw rate on the team. And Andrew Morgan's shooting numbers were right in line with what he did at North Dakota State, except on lower volume. And when volume goes down, you tend to see efficiency rise. And Andrew Morgan wasn't more efficient despite fewer opportunities. I mean, he took, just from last year, he was taking about a quarter of North Dakota State's shots. He took about 20% of Nebraska's shots when he was on the floor this year and didn't necessarily make the most of them at every opportunity. And in my notes, I just have, he was fine, perfectly adequate, normal Big Ten big man. That's what you got out of Andrew Morgan. The other guy I really want to talk about here is Connor Essegian. I would love to know what you guys think of Connor Essegian's performance this year. What letter grade would you give him? We already had someone label him one of the biggest disappointments of the season, and I completely disagree with that. If you look at just the big picture sort of numbers, Connor Essegian was a little above replacement level. Borderline starter caliber, sixth man, which was pretty much his role for Nebraska, and I think he bore that out. So some interesting numbers, right? Connor Essegian, his usage percentage and shot percentage were basically the same at Nebraska as they were at Wisconsin last year. He used the ball slightly less and took slightly fewer shots on a percentage basis than he did at Wisconsin, but that's a 1% difference. That tells you it's essentially he played the same role and played the same way he did at Wisconsin compared to Nebraska. I just thought at the end of the year, when you look back at Connor Essegian and the numbers, it's pretty much exactly what I expected, right? We thought Connor Essegian was going to be streaky, and he was. There were weeks where he wouldn't miss. There were certainly games where he wouldn't miss. There were halves where Connor Essegian was hitting nothing but the bottom of the net, and then it would dry up. And that's the next step for Connor Essegian, right? There were so many first halves that Connor Essegian got Nebraska out of a rut, stayed hot, would hit 3 or 4 threes, including some from really long range, spark PBA, and things were going Nebraska's way. And then he wouldn't get one to drop in the second half. When I look at Connor Essegian, it's great that he has the opportunity and the ability to rattle off, say 4 threes in 13 first half minutes. That's great. Nebraska needed that off the bench this year. But I think on a healthy team, a guy like Connor Essegian as your sixth man isn't doing the seventh or eighth man job of every once in a while pop up and hit a three. Nebraska needs a 3 or 2 per half from Connor Essegian most nights, right? Not just total, but there were opportunities that the Connor Essegian had sometimes in first halves to bury a team that he would miss. I thought he took some from a little bit too far when everyone in the stadium could tell he was out of rhythm. And part of that's being a three-point shooter, right? You step into it with confidence every time. And I'm certainly not knocking him for that or that ability, right? I mean, he's a darn good shooter. And if you're open and you feel like you're in rhythm, you got to let it fly. Plain and simple, you have to. And I am not asking Connor Essegian not to shoot the ball, right? That's what he's at Nebraska to do. And he does a pretty darn good job of it. And I got some numbers to prove that, right? Because a lot of people said before the year, oh, Essegian's going to replace Keisei Tominaga. You can go back and check like 17 different clips. I said, no. Connor Essegian is not replacing Keisei Tominaga. He's replacing CJ Wilcher. So I compared those two. Connor Essegian shot 37.6% from 3 compared to CJ Wilcher's 39.4% 2 years ago for Nebraska. Okay, 1.8% difference, not huge, but 40 to 38. You like that nice round 39 or 40 number compared to a fringy 30, 37 number. But here's the other part of this. Connor Essegian ended up launching 59 more threes than CJ Wilcher and made 20 more of them. Interesting. Essegian shot more than CJ Wilcher did. He made more at a slightly lower clip, but not an egregiously lower clip. And then about consistency, because that I think is really the other part of this. Connor Essegian made 0 or 1 threes 10 times in 31 games. CJ Wilcher made 0 or 1 threes 19 times in 33 games. So 1/3 of the time, Connor Essegian is making 0 or 1. 19 out of 33. So right about, let me do my math here, 60-ish% of the time, CJ Wilcher is making 0 or 1 threes. Again, different team constructs. They're not one-to-one comparisons. It's just factual numbers. Connor Essegian shot 40% from 3 in 15 out of 31 games. CJ Wilcher shot 40% or better from 3 in 16 out of 33. Both pretty much the exact same number and percentage. Right about 50% of the time, they were above 40%. Essegian certainly has more of a reputation as a gunner. Took way more shots than CJ Wilcher did, and Nebraska needed him to. Which would you rather have? CJ Wilcher 2 years ago or Connor Sejan from this past season? I think there's a legitimate argument for both of them there. We're going to go to break here. We'll keep the Nebraska basketball conversation going. Got a couple more texts to get to you here on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. We'll be back to wrap it up after this.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and warm with a napping high around 80. Tonight, mainly clear and breezy, a low around 53. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies to start, but showers and storms arriving in the afternoon. It'll be windy, too, with a high near 75. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey volleybalfans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands, and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
and electrical.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Are you a detail-driven leader with a passion for radio? 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln, Nebraska is hiring for an operations manager. You'll oversee computerized traffic, programming logs, set on-air schedules, and ensure quality for our content. Plus, you'll train on FCC rules, equipment use, and satellite programming. If you're ready to keep the ticket running smoothly and join the team, apply at theticketfm.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 11th annual Street Festival. The party starts on Saturday, March 15th, with tons of giveaways, a kilt contest, great Irish food, and green beer, and continues on Monday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 11 a.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. on Monday, and the street party starts at 2 p.m. both days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's 8th and P in the Haymarket. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe.